Hello everybody, and welcome back into my little lore cave for my game, Midnight Dawn of Darkness. In this episode, we're taking on one of the main things for you as a player in this game, and that's the races of all of the different living humanoid beings within the world of Valencia and beyond. That's right, we're talking about all of the playable races for your characters that you will be playing as when you play MDOD. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, and while we're at it, grab some hot cocoa and some popcorn as we talk about all of the different playable character races within the world of MDOD. Make sure to like and subscribe, by the way. This is part 3 and the final part of our 3-part series covering the races of Valencia, with the first part covering all of the races from A True Light to Glaren, with the second part covering from Gnome to Miradol, and this final episode covering all of the races from Niblo to Vawly. Altogether, these 3 episodes will help you design or define all of your playable characters within the world of Valencia. As such, with that all said and done, let's continue where we left off last time and go on to the Niblos. Niblo. Chaotic, sporadic, and lucky, the monstrous Niblo race are gremlins with scraggled fur that can't ever seem to stay straight, and are always in some sort of a mess. Being one of the few monstrous races, Niblos are commonly outcast from society due to their general crime tendencies, which mainly focus on chaotic antics of burglary, arson, and the likes. Niblos live for utter chaos, and follow or settle wherever they can find it, often being seen as a problem child within a town's community if they are civilized enough to live within its walls. It's due to these chaotic natures that you will almost never see a Niblo living amongst the higher populous cities, with them instead choosing to live amongst the countryside. With a culture so focused on chaos, most major decisions they make are made on games of chance, with their end goal being to spite the odds. It's because of this that if they do live in cities, they tend to be huge transformists, for better or worse, fighting for whatever they believe to be correct. Revolutionaries, warriors, and underdogs all look to Niblos for support in their time of need. While their skin is somewhat leathery, it's covered in scraggly, patchy fur which swirls, tufts, and sticks in a multitude of random directions, commonly being unbelievably messy and hectic, making a well-dressed Niblo a rare sight that some do try to pull off, mainly because it opposes the Niblo stereotype. Niblos are, by definition, contrarians to that which stands above all else. Like goblins, some Niblos grow to be much larger, and are considered to be the leaders of the Niblos within their roaming bands of nomads, known as Orviniblos. Orviniblos tend to cause a lot of the chaos Niblos themselves are known for, hence the stereotypical views they tend to receive. The childhood and adolescence of a Niblo is relatively comparable to that of humans, reaching full maturity and development by the age of 21, with adulthood being considered around 14 for the species. Likewise, their lifespans are slightly shorter than that of the average human, only living to an average age of 71. Niblos reach around an average height of around 3'5" or 105 centimeters in males, and 3'3" or 99 centimeters in females, making them much shorter than your average human. Their fur exhibits colors that are mostly browns, yellows, or blacks. However, some colors closer to red or orange do occasionally occur. Their eyes are commonly either reds, oranges, or yellows. However, some blues and purples are also known to occur. Most clothing fits your average Niblo, as they have no distinct changes to their body shape that overly differentiates them from humans. However, some have unique and more gangly frames which require some tailoring work to make comfortable clothing for. And, like many other animalistic races within the world, do have a tail which requires adjustment to allow for comfortable legwear. Your average Niblo weighs less than that of a human, with the average male weighing approximately 121.25 pounds, or 55 kilograms, having an approximate weight-to-height ratio of 35.2 pounds per foot, or 523.81 grams per centimeter. and the average female weighing approximately 108.91 pounds or 49.4 kilograms, having an approximate weight to height ratio of 33.5 pounds per foot or 498.99 grams per centimeter. Fur and eye coloration ranges and the likes are also noted in the subrace sections within the manual. On screen now are all of the different subrace names, the skills that each subrace has, and their raid affinities. These subraces for the Niblos are the Orvi, the Keen-Eyed, the Sharpshooter, the Hecate, the Thorn-Twist, the Catalytic, and of course all of their Angelkin, Drakenkin, and Demonkin variants. Noios. The nocturnal, winged, and ever-social Noios race are bat-like humanoids with an amazing sense of hearing, allowing them to echolocate and effectively see in the dark. Commonly the major nightlife of many a major city, the Noios are surprisingly curious and social creatures, mostly known for their care for others within their community, and are oftentimes known for being the winged helpers or protectors of many in need in almost any field. They are highly adaptable. However, they do have a major weakness within their impressively strong ears, due to the amplification of sound it provides, making loud noises cause permanent and extreme damage if a Noios is exposed to them. All Noios have impressively strong wings which attach to their arms, which have a soft skin layer that forms the wing structure. Their faces vary wildly from Noios to Noios. However, most Noios have elongated snouts, and a face which resembles that of a fox or a dog. They are mostly covered in a lightweight fur, which covers their entire body other than their arms and wings. Being night owls, Noios commonly sleep during the day and spend most of their time awake in the evenings. However, some have entirely shifted their schedule, preferring the daytime, but this is usually rare and only reserved to a few Noios here and there, such as those with professions that make the most sense to be awake during the day. Additionally, with their wings being completely operational for flight, they make impressive messengers and couriers, carrying info over great lengths, and great scouts, able to locate things from miles away, night or day. The childhood and adolescence of a Noios is relatively comparable to that of humans, reaching full maturity and development by the age of 23, with adulthood being considered around 17 for the species. Additionally, their lifespans are comparable to that of the average human, living to an average age of 72. Noios reach around the average height of 5'7" or 169 centimeters in males and 5'2" or 157 centimeters in females, making them just a little shorter than your average human. However, some subraces do grow to be much larger, such as the crested or Gygus Noios. Their fur can consist of wildly different colors. However, most have either black or dark brown fur, with some deep purples, oranges, rust, or yellows being known as well. Most clothing fits your average Noios, however, they prefer to wear sleeveless shirts, and if they do have sleeves, heavy adaptation is needed for their wings, which must also be adapted for along the entire lengths of their sides, wherein the wings attach to the main body of the Noios. Your average Noios is very lightweight, with the average male weighing approximately 65.32 pounds or 29.63 kilograms, having an approximate weight to height ratio of 11.78 pounds per foot or 175.33 grams per centimeter, and the average female weighing approximately 66.62 pounds or 30.22 kilograms, having an approximate weight to height ratio of 12.94 pounds per foot or 192.5 grams per centimeter. Variations from these averages are noted in the subsections for each subrace within the manual, and likewise, fur coloration ranges and the likes will be noted in those sections. On screen now is the name for each of the different Noios subraces, their raid affinities, and of course, each subrace's skill. The subrace names for the Noios are the Fluffy, the Caped, the Crested, the Gygus, the Fruit Eater, the Vampiric, and of course all of their Angelkin, Drakenkin, and Demonkin variants. Orc. The aggressive, powerful, and ever meat-loving orcs are a semi-monstrous race of humanoids that are absolute brutes of common society, valuing strength and the feats to showcase one's strength above all. Being so aligned with power, the monstrous views of the race are commonly determined via their warmongering, which causes many to be outcasted, forming roaming tribes of nomadic riders, known to be major threats to the many unsuspecting villages of the world. Orcs tend to resemble elves in terms of height. However, unlike the common elf, are much bulkier, with jaws that are normally much more defined with much sharper teeth, which make them naturally carnivores, only rarely enjoying the taste of produce. Every good orc loves a challenge and to be in competition with each other, but value their allies strongly, making these competitions into games rather than deadly battles, and often make friends by finding someone who can either best or equal them in these contests. Of course, sparring is one of the most common contests in orc society, being as they value strength so much. However, a multitude of other sportsman activities do occur, if the orcs want to spice it up a little. Additionally, it's considered a rite of passage that all orcs undergo that they must hunt and kill a monster or beast of some kind, with the most impressive killers being heralded as the highest ranking. With that being said, the childhood and adolescence of an orc is relatively comparable to that of humans, reaching full maturity and development by the age of 27, with adulthood being considered around 19 for the species. Likewise, their lifespans are slightly longer than that of the average human, living to an average age of 74. Orcs reach around an average height of 5'10" or 179 centimeters in males, and 5'6" or 167 centimeters in females, making them a decent bit taller than your average human. Their skin exhibits colors that are mostly deeper greens or pale grays. However, some darker colors closer to human skin, such as charcoal and browns, do occur. Their hair has colorations very similar to humans, mostly being black or brown, with their eyes being reds, oranges, or yellows on average. However, some greens or blacks are known to occur as well. Most clothing fits your average orc, as they have no distinct changes to their body shape that overly differentiates them from humans. Your average orc weighs decently more than that of a human, with the average male weighing approximately 196.3 pounds or 89.04 kilograms, having an approximate weight to height ratio of 33.43 pounds per foot or 497.43 grams per centimeter, and the average female weighing approximately 170.37 pounds or 77.28 kilograms, having an approximate weight to height ratio of 31.1 pounds per foot or 462.75 grams per centimeter. Skin, hair, and eye coloration ranges and the likes are noted within these sections within the manual for each subrace. Likewise, on screen now is the names for each subrace, their raid affinities, and each of their subraces' skills. The subraces of the orc are known as the Brutland, the Strong Arm, the Far Treader, the Ever Fury, the Tusked, the Ivory, and, of course, all of their Angelkin, Drakenkin, and Demonkin variants. Phurrevian. According to the dragons, prior to the universal collapse, Phurrevians were at one point hyper-powerful beings with strength and aptitudes rivaling all others, with immense intelligence and durability as well. However, when they applied themselves too hard and spread themselves too far and intermingled with some of the lesser humanoid races of the universe, they found themselves impacted with a genetic anomaly which impounded and slowly destroyed them from the insides out, greatly weakening and breaking them down with time. This genetic anomaly they found themselves with made the entire race biologically androgynous, and with heavy genetic inconsistencies, causing malformations or misalignments in their body parts. Being highly smart and adaptive, they slowly were able to create themselves a multitude of machine body parts, and stop the spread of the genetic disorder beyond the point of no return. However, this damage has permanently shaped the race, even when reconstituted by the dragons after the universal collapse, forcing them to still require their machine adaptations for all except a select few. Being biologically androgynous, Phurrevians require heavy adaptation to birth new Phurrevians, making them a highly rare race. However, despite their issues, they do have many strong aptitudes, being one of the smartest races in all of Valencia, with most being able to easily solve just about any problem or puzzle imaginable. The greatest of these the Phurrevian race has ever solved is the creation of the mechanical body parts, which work as body-wide prosthetics which help and aid just about every Phurrevian imaginable, with the multiple different types of construction variants being what makes the different sub-races of this race. As such, much like humans and their upbringings, Phurrevians do not necessarily have subraces, merely just styles which help add to or define their characteristic differences between each of them. Additionally, due to their modifications to themselves, they can adapt themselves to intermingle well with any race. However, reproduction of Phurrevians requires two modified Phurrevians to occur. In very rare cases, this results in a Phurrevian whose body is not genetically disfigured, and isn't born androgynous, known as a naturalist Phurrevian. Naturalists are the highest respected of the species, not needing any modifications to live and function, unlike the many others. However, they commonly are slightly weaker than that of the others. All Phurrevians do, however, have two major benefits which have stayed with them despite their genetic issues, that being an innate disease immunity, making them immune to all natural diseases beyond their innate genetic curse, and the need to never eat, as their bodies naturally absorb a multitude of nutrients just from inhabiting a space. Once they are born and their bodies are made, a Phurrevian's childhood and adolescence is mostly comparable to that of humans. However, until their bodies are fully developed, many modifications and adaptations must occur for the mechanized parts of a Phurrevian, a process which commonly is lengthy and long-winded to get the best results. Phurrevians reach full maturity and development by the age of 29, with adulthood being considered around 22 for the species. Additionally, due to their bodies supporting their longevity, the lifespans of a mechanized Phurrevian are decently longer than that of your average human, living to an average age of 137, while naturalists don't have this natural support structure, making the believed proper lifespan of the species to actually only be slightly longer than that of the average human, living to an average age of 78. Naturalist Phurrevians reach around an average height of 5'7" or 171 centimeters in males, or 5'3" or 159 centimeters in females, with mechanized Phurrevians reaching around an average height of 5'5" or 165 centimeters, making them about the same height as your average human, however with many major differences. Their skin is commonly metallic or grayscale in color, with ranges from silver, steel, and bronze being the most common. However, some do have perfectly pale white skin, with many choosing to make their mechanized parts match or deviate from these colors to help support their fashion. Unless they overly modify their body shapes, of which most choose not to, most clothing fits your average Phurrevian without any modification. Likewise, without their prosthetics and supports, Phurrevians lose a lot of weight and are much less dense than those who do have said prosthetics, meaning that while your average naturalist Phurrevian male weighs approximately 130.87 pounds or 59.36 kilograms, having an approximate weight to height ratio of 23.33 pounds per foot or 347.13 grams per centimeter, and the average female weighs approximately 113.9 pounds or 51.52 kilograms, having an approximate weight to height ratio of 21.77 pounds per foot or 324.03 grams per centimeter. Your average mechanized Phurrevian weighs approximately 298.68 pounds or 135.48 kilograms, having an approximate weight to height ratio of 55.18 pounds per foot, or 821.1 grams per centimeter, due to the weight of the metals used in making of their prosthetics. Variations from these averages are noted in the subsections for each subrace within the manual. Likewise, on screen now is all of the body styles each Phurrevian has, including all of their rate affinities and all of the skills for them. The names of all of the Phurrevian styles include the Naturalist, the Mechanistic, the Clockwork, the Smooth-Skinned, the Liquimetal, the Piecemeal, and of course all of their Angelkin, Drakenkin, and Demonkin variants. Polan. The strong, immense, and armored Polan are a race resembling the likes of humanoid crabs with claws instead of hands, and thick keratin armor instead of skin. Polan have a surprising amount of variability within the race, with some resembling more closely to different kinds of shrimp, some resembling crabs more directly, and others resembling the likes of lobsters. Polan tend to live near almost any body of water, with their resilience being known to withstand the weight of even the strongest of tempests. Some are skittish, some are bold, but against whatever foes or tasks may stand in their path, Polan do not fall easily. Polan's thick shell make them unreasonably defensive and resilient, with many aged Polan being able to easily deflect enemy weaponry as if it were nothing, making them well sought after soldiers and guardsmen. However, if Polans were able to choose what they could do without the worries of life's problems, they'd love to spend their time alone, living their life simply without a care for outside issues. Polan are normally solitary, however some can be more social, but as a whole, the race is more consistently known for their territorial nature and protectiveness. If they live among cities, they tend to live on the outskirts, choosing to stay away from many. Additionally, they are also known for their strong sense of will, a trait which is as beneficial as it is negative, as they tend to heavily oppose any sense of nonconformity with their ideals, commonly to a point of their own self-detriment, making them widely known for being stubborn creatures, if they don't learn to open up. The childhood and adolescence of a Polan is relatively comparable to that of humans, reaching full maturity and development by the age of 32, with adulthood being considered around 23 for the species. Additionally, their lifespans are decently longer than that of the average human, living to an average age of 91. Polan reach around an average height of around 6 foot even, or 182 centimeters in males, and 5 foot 7, or 171 centimeters in females, making them decently taller than your average human. Their shells are most commonly many different shades of red. However, on occasion, blue or even white are known to occur. However, these colorations are unbelievably rare. Most clothing fits your average Polan. However, their large claws may cause issues for any sort of shirt they may wear if not properly handled and adapted for. Additionally, the tailed, whiskerwind, and mantis subraces all have reasonably thick tails which do need to be accounted for any legwear they wear. Your average Polan weighs a decent bit more than that of a human, with the average male weighing approximately 200.36 pounds or 90.88 kilograms, having an approximate weight-to-height ratio of 33.55 pounds per foot or 499.34 grams per centimeter, and the average female weighing approximately 188.56 pounds or 85.53 kilograms, having an approximate weight-to-height ratio of 33.61 pounds per foot or 500.18 grams per centimeter. Variations from these averages are noted in the subsections for each subrace within the manual. Likewise, shell coloration ranges and the likes are also noted in those sections. On screen now is the name for each of the Polan subraces, all of their rate affinities, and all of their skills. The names for each of the Polan subraces are the Crowned, the Mantis, the Longstrider, the Tailed, the Shellwalker, the Whiskerwind, and of course all of their Angelkin, Dragonkin, and Demonkin variants. Qych. Long-bodied, scaled, and overall ruthless, the Qych are a snake-like humanoid, of which are technically the tallest race in Alincia. With bodies which can grow to 350 centimeters or longer, Qych are an impressive race resembling the more demonic Lamia, however with commonly less ill intent. Preferring warm environments, Qych live in the deserts and drylands of the world, or within the tropics if they prefer a bit of humidity, and can be found amongst just about any society that shares the environs with them. Qych are known for their long, tube-shaped tails, which replace the legs most humanoids have, slithering on the floor rather than walking. However, this does come with some unique drawbacks that only Qych are known to have, such as a general struggle with stairs or any slippery surface. Additionally, like snakes, they do struggle with cold, much more so than any other race, and will die if not kept properly warm in even simple winters, as they do not have the innate means to regulate their body temperature like most humanoids do. This, however, can be combated with some self-warming or temperature-controlling clothes, a luxury many Qych love as it provides the on-demand temperature control they tend to lack. Qych are additionally known to be very aggressive and extreme go-getters when it comes to getting things done, stopping at nothing to achieve their goals. However, when on a friendly level with them, Qych are some of the kindest there are, with hugs from Qych commonly including more than just their arms. The childhood and adolescence of a Qych is relatively comparable to that of humans, reaching full maturity and development by the age of 26, with adulthood being considered around 18 for the species. Additionally, their lifespans are about the same age of that as an average human, living to the average age of 73. Qych reach around an average height of 11 foot 4 or 347 centimeters in males, and 10 foot 7 or 322 centimeters in females, making them officially the tallest of all the races in Ungoliants. However, they tend not to use their entire height, as a majority of said height is within their tails, which are used for locomotion and stability, meaning they actually stand around about the same height as or a little bit taller than your average human does. Their scales exhibit colors all over the rainbow, with smoothened scales which cover their entire body, with yellows, greens, and oranges being some of the most common scale colors. However, black, gold, and white do also exist. Additionally, most Qych actually have a multitude of different scale colors, in very unique patterns, which are all related to the subrace they come from. Almost all Qych have cream color ventral scales, which are the scales that line from their throats all the way down to the tip of their tails, on the front of their bodies. They tend to have black eyes, however, reds and yellow colored eyes are known to exist as well. While most shirts fit your average Qych, their unique lower half makes them some of the most interesting humanoids to design clothing for, as their tails require extremely well-fit designs which commonly use either belts or bindings to keep in place, of which also has to be measured so as to not disturb common movement patterns of the Qych, as their clothes getting caught as they move is a major problem for them. It's because of this that most Qych actually prefer to wear dresses or skirts or related styles of clothing rather than the variation of pants that has actually been developed for Qych. Your average Qych weighs much more than that of a human, with the average male weighing approximately 257.76 pounds or 116.92 kilograms, having an approximate weight to height ratio of 22.64 pounds per foot or 336.96 grams per centimeter, and the average female weighing approximately 244.03 pounds or 110.69 kilograms, having an approximate weight to height ratio of 23.1 pounds per foot or 343.75 grams per centimeter. Variations from these averages, scale coloration ranges, and the likes are noted within the following subsections for each subrace within the manual. Likewise, on screen now is the names for all of the subraces, their raid affinities, and all of their racial skills. The subraces for the Qych include the Quick Striker, the Night Stalker, the Crowned, the Constrictor, the Tree Hunter, the Rattler, and of course, all of their Angelkin, Drakenkin, and Demonkin variants. Raijanan. The kind, protective, and lovable Raijanan are dog-like humanoids much akin to Varulfur, however resembling domestic dogs rather than the wolves Varulfur do. Commonly considered to be the friendliest of the races, hospitality is one of the greatest services a Raijanan can provide, and they have an innate way of making strangers with no intent to harm feel unbelievably welcomed, loved, and part of the household family. Those who stand against Raijanans, though, are met with the aggression of their wills, and they will fight with everything they have to protect those they care for. Raijanans exist practically everywhere in the world, and are well known for being the lovable companion you never realized you needed. They are surprisingly well versed in emotional wisdom, and share in just about every happy moment, and shelter in every sad one. And while they aren't innately the adventurous type, if it's to protect family or friends, they will almost always be there for them, making them appear commonly in many traveling groups. Additionally, Raijanans love the outdoors, sunbathing in just about any weather that can support it, and enjoy the scenery of the countryside most of all. Additionally, Raijanan families are normally large, with many children, and if the Raijanan themselves doesn't have children, they do find themselves being servants for royals with a need to care for those children instead. Being similar to the many domestic dogs of the world, Raijanans have a multitude of different varieties in shape and stature, and a multitude of different fur colors as well. The childhood and adolescence of a Raijanan is relatively comparable to that of humans, reaching full maturity and development by the age of 18, with adulthood being considered around 14 for the species. Sadly, their lifespans are shorter than that of the average human, only living to an average age of 62. Raijanans reach around an average height of 5'8" or 173 centimeters in males, and 5'4" or 162 centimeters in females, making them slightly taller than your average human. Their fur exhibits colors which are either white, brown, gray, black, or gold. However, which colors they may have are entirely based on their subrace. Their eyes are commonly blue or brown, however, grays and greens are known to occur as well. Most clothing fits your average Raijanan, however, their leg wear needs to be adapted for their tails, which commonly are about as long as their legs. Your average Raijanan is much more bulkier than your average human, with the average male weighing approximately 226.93 pounds or 102.94 kilograms, having an approximate weight to height ratio of 39.98 pounds per foot or 595 grams per centimeter, and the average female weighing approximately 219.82 pounds or 99.71 kilograms, having an approximate weight to height ratio of 41.36 pounds per foot or 615.52 grams per centimeter. Fur patterns, fur and eye coloration ranges, and the likes are noted in the subsections for each subrace within the manual. Likewise, on screen now is all of these subrace names, their racial skills, and their raid affinities. The names for each of these subraces of Raijanan include the Shepherd, the Sporter, the Hound, the Terrier, the Dwarf, the Companion, and of course, all their Angelkin, Drakenkin, and Demonkin variants. Shroomling. The tribal, rambunctious, and wild Shroomlings are a race of living fungus which have impressive regenerative properties, and are great at working in teams together to accomplish their many goals, whatever they may be. Comparable to what would happen if a gnome had orc-like aggression, or the opposite around but with gnome smarts. Shroomlings are a surprisingly complex race that lives near the special places of the world they have turned into their grow beds. Their tribes love to nestle themselves in moist environments that promote the growth of the community, and commonly live highly connected to nature, in all its many ways. Shroomlings have undeniably unique bodies, with the top of their heads being replaced by a large mushroom cap, of which has many different shapes and sizes depending on their subrace, and stocky white or cream-skinned bodies which connect, resembling stems of the mushrooms in the way their body is statured. Seeing as they tend to live in damp environments, a decent population does exist in just about nearly every city. However, they tend to live in sanctioned neighborhoods, preferring to keep to themselves when at home. Whenever out in the community, however, they work with those around them well, enjoying their company and sharing in the many joys they may have. Additionally, they tend to have an innate familial focus, of which lets them form the strong communities they seem to enjoy so much. Within their gated communities, Shroomlings hold ritualistic contests of many varieties, viewing these contests as proof of worthiness to even be a Shroomling, and those who aren't good at a community's games or contests are commonly forced to leave the community, as they are not believed to be a proper fit anymore. The childhood and adolescence of a Shroomling is relatively comparable to that of humans, reaching full maturity and development by the age of 28. With adulthood being considered around 20 for the species. Additionally, their lifespans are slightly longer than that of the average human, living to an average age of 76. Shroomlings reach around an average height of 4'3" or 131 centimeters in males, and 3'10" or 119 centimeters in females, making them much shorter than your average human. As stated prior, their skin is either white or cream, and has a sort of fuzzy yet leathery texture to it, much like mushrooms do, with thicker bodies to support their wide caps. Their caps, however, can be a multitude of different colors, with many having a multitude of possible patterns as well. Their eyes are almost entirely black, however there are a few with dark gray and dark purple eyes. Most clothing fits your average Shroomling, as they have no distinct changes to their body shape that overly differentiates them from humans. However, their shirts cannot fit over their massive heads, and as such, any shirt that they would wear needs to be buttoned up in some sort of way. Despite their stocky structure, your average Shroomling weighs much less than that of a human, with the average male weighing approximately 96.28 pounds or 43.67 kilograms, and the average female weighing approximately 87.46 pounds or 39.67 kilograms, with both having an approximate weight to height ratio of 22.4 pounds per foot, or 333.33 grams per centimeter. Cap patterns, cap and eye coloration ranges, and the likes are noted within the sections for each subrace within the manual. Likewise, on screen now is the names for each of the subraces, their racial skills, and of course all of their rate affinities. The names for each of these Shroomling subraces include the Weeping Veiled, the Speckled, the Spotted, the Barrel-breast, the Wide-brimmed, the Crinkled, and of course all of their Angelkin, Drakenkin, and Demonkin variants. Tabeano. The beastly human race of Tabeano resembles humans with the tails and ears of foxes, dogs, or cats, and share many similarities with humans with these major changes, being highly versatile and highly simplistic, and taking a few traits such as the lithe and nimble nature of cats, or the friendly and sharp senses of a dog, or the general cunningness of a fox. Additionally, alongside this, some subraces resemble closer to the animal they are a relative hybrid of, being known as feral Tabeanos, with fur and claws becoming way more abundant on feral than other Tabeano subraces. Like humans, a Tabeano is capable of just about anything they want to set themselves to, with their physical amplifiers being what mostly differentiate themselves from humans, changing how they handle many tasks and how they may live their own lives. Tabeano are also very prolific and social butterflies in a grander sense, finding themselves amongst the many different races and societies of Valencia quite commonly. The childhood and adolescence of a Tabeano is relatively comparable to that of humans, reaching full maturity and development by the age of 25, with adulthood being considered around 18 for the species. Additionally, their lifespans are almost the exact same as that of an average human, living to an average age of 73. Tabeanos reach around an average height of around 5'5" or 165 centimeters in males, and 5 foot even or 153 centimeters in females, making them a little bit shorter than your average human. Their skin exhibits colors mostly similar to humans. Their eyes and hair additionally have colorations very similar to humans, with fur colors that commonly match or are very similar to these hair colors. Most clothing fits your average Tabeano, as they have no distinct changes to their body shape that overly differentiates them from humans. However, like many other tailed races of the world, their pants need adaptation for their tails to be of any comfort. Your average Tabeano weighs less than that of a human, with the average male weighing approximately 157.85 pounds or 71.6 kilograms, having an approximate weight to height ratio of 29.16 pounds per foot, or 433.92 grams per centimeter, and the average female weighing approximately 136.25 pounds, or 61.8 kilograms, having an approximate weight to height ratio of 27.14 pounds per foot, or 403.9 grams per centimeter. Skin, hair, fur, and eye coloration ranges and the likes are noted in the subsections for each subrace within the manual. Likewise, on screen now is the names for each of those subraces, all of their racial skills, and of course all of their rate affinities. The names for each of the Tabeano subraces include the cat-eared, the fox-eared, the dog-eared, the feral fox-eared, the feral dog-eared, and the feral cat-eared, and of course all of their Angelkin, Drakenkin, and Demonkin variants. The Rundi are real. Ungoliants. The Ungoliants are a mystical race which live amongst the highest peaks of the world, with ashen gray skin and a deep culture focused on the arcane and alchemic focuses within the world. Hermits by nature, Ungoliants rarely live among cities, preferring nature as their only real friend as they each develop towards true purity. While they do live among small tribes, it is just as often you see a group of 10 as a singular lone Ungoliant, who in his search of purity has separated himself from the many. Being highly considered amongst the wisest of the races, those who do live amongst these cities of the world are commonly advisors, and seek to teach and share their wisdom or trades with others, being teachers first and innovators second. With their high involvement within the arcane and alchemical, it's no wonder they produce a surprising amount of arcane and creatively inclined offspring, and are known for their unique developments in each of their respective fields. And while they do resemble humans in the simplest of senses, their differences in stature, actions, and general personality and harmony with the natural elements of the world makes them fundamentally different, so much so that an Ungoliant is in some instances entirely incompatible with the normal human design, producing their own strange solutions that entirely revolutionize fields such as architecture or farming. If an Ungoliant feels a need to test for the sake of a more pure and genuine outcome, they will produce that environment and set up that result in a pure and genuine way. The childhood and adolescence of an Ungoliant is relatively comparable to that of humans, reaching full maturity and development by the age of 39, with adulthood being considered around 31 for the species. Additionally, their lifespans are much longer than that of the average human, living to an average age of 127. Ungoliants reach around an average height of 7'10", or 240 centimeters in males, and 7'4", or 223 centimeters in females, making them much taller than your average human. Their skin is, in almost all instances, ashy gray. However, darker colors such as charcoal or lighter colors such as pale gray are known to exist, with those who are believed to be pure having natural golden skin markings on them. Furthermore, those who have achieved their life's purpose, as vague as that may be, commonly have a golden marking of an eye developing upon their forehead, with it fading or growing more prominent if they continue to follow their purpose or lose their way from it. Their eyes are commonly golden or silver, however some deep greens and blues are known to occur. Meanwhile, their hair is either black or silvery white. Most clothing fits your average Ungoliant, as they have no distinct changes through the body shape that overly differentiates them from humans. Your average Ungoliant weighs much more than that of a human, with the average male weighing approximately 327.98 pounds or 148.77 kilograms, having an approximate weight to height ratio of 41.65 pounds per foot, or 619.88 grams per centimeter, and the average female weighing approximately 284.46 pounds, or 129.03 kilograms, having an approximate weight to height ratio of 38.88 pounds per foot, or 578.62 grams per centimeter. Skin, hair, and eye coloration ranges and the likes are noted in the following subsections for each subrace within the manual. Likewise, on screen now is all of the names for each of the subraces, their racial skills, and of course all of their rate affinities. The names for each of the subraces include the Kingmaker, the Mountain Breaker, the Biaric, the Third Eye, the Feather Ward, the Obsteran, and of course all of their Angelkin, Drakenkin, and Demonkin variants. Varulfur. The tall, powerful, and immensely threatening Varulfur race is a race resembling the wolves of the world, with arcane influence shifting them to be something much more. Varulfur are in general some of the tallest standing humanoids in Alencia, are born only at nighttime, and have an innate tie into Darvanas' magics that permeate the nighttime of the world. While this innate tie does not inherently mean they are arcanely inclined, it does assist in their general power and aura that they adapt, becoming also one of the strongest races in Alencia due to their natural embodiment of that magic. Being born in the night, all Varulfur subraces are named based off the timing of the Varulfur's birth, with some being unbelievably rare due to this system, such as eclipse or dawn, and others being way more common, such as midnight or dusk. Regardless, the timing of this birth influences many things in the Varulfur's life cycle, such as his overall height, stature, and musculature. With this in mind, Varulfur are a pack-style race, which commonly live in nomadic tribes or amongst cities with major groups. They are highly protective of those they consider to be their pack, and those who oppose the group of Varulfur face the wrath of the whole group of them, and those accepted into the pack must be willing to show the same overall dedication to not be left behind. Because of their general societal structures, they too tend to live in just about any location, bar overly hot environments. The childhood and adolescence of a Varulfur is relatively comparable to that of humans, reaching full maturity and development by the age of 23, with adulthood being considered around 16 for the species. Additionally, their lifespans are slightly shorter than that of the average human, only living to an average age of 70. Varulfurs reach around an average height of around about 8 foot even, or 243 centimeters in males, and 7 foot 5 or 227 centimeters in females, making them much taller than your average human. Their fur is most commonly either grays or blacks, with darker colors being more common if they do differentiate from said norms, resulting in deep browns or maroons also being common. Their eyes are commonly either blue or gray. However, browns are also very prominent. Most clothing does need to be tailored for a Varulfur to wear clothes comfortably, as their top-heavy nature and tails make both human shirts and pants not the most comfortable of clothes for them. However, they can wear shirts for larger humanoids comfortably. Your average Varulfur weighs quite a bit more than that of a human, with the average male weighing approximately 251.94 pounds or 114.28 kilograms, having an approximate weight to height ratio of 31.6 pounds per foot or 470.3 grams per centimeter, and the average female weighing approximately 174.69 pounds or 79.24 kilograms, having an approximate weight to height ratio of 23.46 pounds per foot or 349.09 grams per centimeter. Height, weight, fur, and eye coloration ranges and the likes are noted in the following sections for each subrace within the manual. Likewise, on screen now is the names for each of the subraces, their racial skills, and of course all of their rate affinities. The names for each of the subraces of Varulfur include the full moon, the eclipse, the dawn, the dusk, the new moon, the midnight, and of course all of their angelkin, drakenkin, and demonkin variants. Vawly. Curious, strange, and naturally intelligent. The Vawly are a race resembling the many corvid birds of the world, including rooks, ravens, crows, blue jays, and many more. They are highly social creatures, sharing their studies constantly, and love to learn new knowledge at any given time. Because of this, Vawly are natural scholars, and are always searching for more things to learn and research about. Similarly to Atrudelites, Vawly have wing arms, of which the wing part is a vestigial trait to them, as Vawly cannot fly naturally. However, one interesting connection they have with their animal counterparts is their voice, of which they can learn to use to mimic any song, speech pattern, or sound they hear, if they practice enough with it. This means that with time, Vawly are some of the greatest vocalists or actors within the world of Lintier, and actively include their mastered mimicry in their pursuit of knowledge and skill sets. A topic that almost all Vawly take note of when learning something is the noises it makes, and at what volume, so they can help provide others within their social groups with a proper description of it. Beyond this, they all tend to be too curious for their own good, commonly digging their nose into things they really shouldn't, and having to deal with those consequences, whatever they may be. The childhood and adolescence of a Vawly is relatively comparable to that of humans, reaching full maturity and development by the age of 18, with adulthood being considered around 12 for the species. Additionally, their lifespans are decently shorter than that of the average human, only living to an average age of 52. Vawly reach around an average height of 5'6" or 168 centimeters in males, and 5'8" or 173 centimeters in females, making them about the same height as your average human. They have a multitude of different feather colors, however the most common colors are whites, grays, and blacks. However, this is entirely dependent on the subrace of the Vawly. Their eyes are commonly golden or orange. However, colors such as topaz or blue are also common. Their feet are clawed like many birds are, and their plumage does tend to require special tailoring for their coattails, which form a pseudo-skirt around their waistline. As expected of their corvid comparisons, they're unbelievably lightweight, with the average male only weighing approximately 74.56 pounds or 33.82 kilograms, and the average female weighing approximately 76.76 pounds or 34.82 kilograms, with both having an approximate weight to height ratio of 13.53 pounds per foot or 201.29 grams per centimeter. Variations from these averages are noted in the subsections for each subrace within the manual. Likewise, plumage coloration ranges and the likes are also noted in said sections. On screen now is the names for each of the different sub-races of Vawly, all of their racial skills, and of course all of their rate affinities. The names for each of the Vawly sub-races include the wide-plumed, the short-plumed, the castled, the crested, the white-tipped, the blue, and of course all of their Angelkin, Drakenkin, and Demonkin variants. With that, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this and like to see more, down in the description is not only going to be a playlist for this series, but a playlist for the music once it's out, and a playlist for the campaign I'm running on this channel, Depths of the Blighted Heart. If you'd like to help out or just contribute to the ideas of MDOD, fan art is always welcome and appreciated in the Discord server, also seen below. Leave a comment for any lore you'd like to see covered in the future, or if you're confused about something. I always try to respond to all the comments on every video. So if you'd like to know more, ask me there or in my Discord. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye!